Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse, it is Nigel here, and today I have got another tier list for you guys. So, this time we are looking at the visionary, the revolutionary, Seth freaking Rollins. Now, of course, as always, Seth Rollins is a man who dresses to kill, who has had a variety of pretty cool and not so cool outfits over the years. And we're going to take a look at a lot of them. There is quite a few attires that I was able to pick out here, so brace yourselves. But also, I decided not to put like his various suits and everything on here, or because, and it's for a couple reasons. For starters, honestly, that could be its own tier list. It's in fact something to think about for the near future. But also, I decided to try to keep this consistent with like these attires and everything. I'm gonna be mainly looking at their like actual gear when they're in the ring wrestling. And so I want to actually like look at their like actual wrestling gear, like when they're wrestling and everything. But also the other thing is that this thing is already pretty dang long. I managed to get a lot of tires. I was kind of afraid that I wouldn't have as many tires as I would like, but I managed to get quite a few. But now, with that being said, let's head down to the rankings so you can see how we're doing this. It's pretty much similar to what we did last time with Johnny Gargano, which if you haven't already, go check out that tier list. But we have S tier, aka the Visionary, because Seth Rollins is, of course, the Visionary. We have A tier, which is like not quite good enough to be S tier, but still a really solid, really good looking attire. B is like good, but not enough to be an A or S. It's kind of the middle ground in a lot of ways. C is like meh. It's kind of eh. It's almost like bottom of the barrel. It's almost like there's like one or two like redeeming qualities that's keeping it from the bottom. And the bottom is D tier, the lowest of the low. Absolutely sucks. But let's get right into it, starting with his NXT gear. So this is very young Seth Rollins, starting out in NXT and everything. Not gonna lie, I get like the historical significance of this is not to be understated, because of course he is first inaugural NXT champion, and this is how he wore his gear back in like the indies and everything, when he was with like Ring of Honor and stuff, back when he was Tyler Black. But I don't know if I'm feeling it. It's a very generic, like basic looking gear, and maybe it's unfair to compare it to like a lot of his other gears that he would wear later on down the line. Perhaps I'm being a bit harsh on that front, and if I am, please let me know, and I do apologize. But I'm not really feeling it, to be honest, that much. He's got the trunks here, which he's got the little weird design on there, and then the elbow pads and the big arm wristband type things. Not really feeling it. So unfortunately for Mr. Seth Rollins, you are starting off not quite with a bang, but with a bit of a whimper. This one, the NXT gear, is going in C tier. Next up, we move on to the Shield. Well, Seth Rollins, how he looked in the Shield, probably one of his best looks. Of course, the long sleeve. And the thing about the Shield is that, and this is the thing I say with tag teams, is that they gotta have like matching gear usually. Unless it's like kind of an odd couple pairing, or like to where, or the gear, it doesn't really matter if they match or not. But with Seth here, he had to share this type of gear with like Dean and Roman, with like the SWAT gear, like the all black and the vest and stuff. But Seth's, I think, always looked the coolest. He has this one, the long sleeve. He had the short sleeves. He had the sleeveless in 2014. He had the sleeveless ones, and then meanwhile Dean just had like at first Dean had like the short sleeve and the vest, and then just went down to like the tank top, and then Roman always had the vest. But Seth always looked cool, like the vest and the shirt and everything, as well as the gloves. I always thought that was pretty cool. So his Shield attire, I think, is gonna go in A tier. A really solid attire. I really love Seth Rollins' Shield gear, and I decided not to put the Shield reunion type gears that he wore because they stayed for the most part the same, and so I figured it would be kind of redundant. But thankfully, we've got plenty of other Seth Rollins gears, including here the Authority. When Seth Rollins sold out to the Authority, turned on his brothers, broke up the Shield, and really broke out on his own, at least on the main roster and everything. This gear has always been kind of cool. Well, like the all black and everything, and peep that wet gear. Of course, Seth Rollins wets his hair, of course, before going out. But I always liked the black and everything. It looked really solid. The belt buckle thing has always been kind of weird. Here's same with these like silver type tape above the boots, but it's not enough to bother me. And I do like how it's still kind of sleeveless like his Shield gear, but no, it's Seth Rollins being a heel and being all cocky and stuff. And there is like an alternate version where it doesn't have these parts, and then this is replaced with the SR. He wore that more in like 2015, right before debuting the gear at Mania. So, didn't really wear it a whole lot, but this is the gear he primarily wore. And of course, while I showed this gear in like this form, so you can see like the vest alongside here, which the whole like outline of it along with the ab stuff is kind of it's a bit iffy, but I think it does work for the most part. But while I did show this just to show like the whole gear, this gear is also synonymous with Seth Rollins as Mr. Money in the Bank, and yeah, so pretty synonymous gear, very solid gear for the most part. And it was a bold choice to put the Money in the Bank on Seth Rollins so early after breaking out, but it was showing Seth as the new top heel in WWE. But this one I think will go in B tier. It's a really good gear, I think, for the most part. It's really, really nice and everything. Next up, we have Wrestlemania 31, and dig that iconic image, Seth Rollins cashing in, pulling off the heist of the century, leaving WrestleMania 31 with the WWE Championship. And of course, but we're here to talk more about the gear itself. This time I didn't really get the vest. I couldn't really find a very clean looking image with the vest and everything, but still seeing just like the pants and everything, and then the WWE Championship, of course. But with Seth's gear here, I think it's really good. I like the black, and I like kind of the gray, a mix with like the gold here. I've always really liked this gear. It's a really solid gear, and the boots look really nice, and and of course synonymous with the heist of the century and all that. But I'm trying to focus more on the gear itself, but I do like the SR logo over there, and then the belt and everything. So yeah, overall really good looking gear. So I think this one will be, I'll put this one in A tier. It's a really good looking gear, and I really like it. Next up, SummerSlam 2015. This gear is often been regarded, and I agree with these people, as one of Seth Rollins, if not his absolute best gear. This attire is beautiful. The white, the gold, and the SR logo there, and the wristbands. Oh, it is a gorgeous attire. Wedding Day Rollins, as Grimm's Toy Show put it back in the day. Used to watch him a lot growing up. But, man, just a gorgeous attire. And I like the gold, how it's over the boots as well, or more so the kick pads. But yeah, just a very beautiful attire. The all white is a really solid gear, and it's easily one of his absolute best gears. So with that, at SummerSlam 2015 is our first visionary gear. It is just probably the best Seth Rollins attire. If it's not the best, it's clear. It's definitely one of the best. It's at least in like top 5, possibly even top five gears of all time. That's how good it is. Moving on to redesign, rebuild, reclaim. This is after Seth Rollins returned at Extreme Rules 2016. Unfortunately, sadly, he had to relinquish the WWE Championship here. He tore his MCL and his ACL late in 2015, so he was out for the rest of the year and a good portion of 2016. He missed WrestleMania 32, although honestly, I don't know how much Seth would have been able to save WrestleMania 32. To be honest, I think 32 sadly was kind of a lost cause. But Seth comes back with this new gear, no more blonde on full black and everything. He still had like a tiny bit here, but that would eventually phase out. But so this is like the gray gear and everything, and this attire for the most part is good. The different mixes of grays I think is a little weird, but not too much, not enough to bother me. This is the gray. It honestly it's more like a charcoal. Oh, is charcoal? Is that the word I want to use for it? It's kind of a grayish, but it has like a bit of a blue hue to it. I don't know if that's coming out right, but I do like this gear. It's really solid for the most part, and I like the black and everything, and the black there and the new logo there is really good. So yeah, it's just a good gear overall. So I think this one I will put in. I'll put it in A tier. It's a really good looking gear. I'll just put RRR. Or just really good stuff. And one of the things I remember vividly is that even though 2K17, usually the cutoff for like what attires are going to be in the game is usually around like I think WrestleMania, but this gear for Seth Rollins still made it into 2K17, which was awesome. But next up we've got SummerSlam 2016. Not gonna lie, I have never really been a big fan of this gear. It looks really weird. I get what he's going for. It's supposed to be like based off Tron and everything, but I think the light green is kind of weird, and the light green is like kind of weird. A lot of the designs are too. I feel like if you wanted to do a Tron gear, if you wanted to do a Tron gear, it probably would look better in like white or red. But like the colors and everything mixed with the black, I think that would have looked a bit better. But as it stands, not really a big fan of this gear. I know a lot of people do like it, but me, I'm not really feeling it. I feel like the light green is kind of taking me out of it a little bit. So with that, sadly, this is going to be in C tier. And another thing to keep in mind, as always, these are just my opinions. If you disagree, feel free to let me know. Oh, and that's totally fine if you disagree. But I'd love to hear your favorite and least favorite Seth Rollins gears in the comments below. Drop them in the comments. Next up is the silver gear. So this is right around when Seth Rollins was either turning face or about to turn face. It looks like Battleground in the back where he had this gear. So he hadn't fully turned face yet, but still a really good looking gear. Or was he face around that time? I think he might. No, Battleground he was heel because that was the triple threat, the Shield triple threat, which it was a weird placement them putting it at Battleground. That really should have been like WrestleMania or at least SummerSlam, but nope, it was at Battleground. But nevertheless, the silver gear, I think is really cool. I like it, I think, more than just the regular one. Something about the silver, I think, stands out a bit more, looks cooler. Metallic colors, I've kind of got a soft spot for when it's done right, when it's not too egregious, like what we saw with some of the Iron Man gears, which we did in the Iron Man tier list. If you haven't already, go check that out. But still a really good looking gear, I think, and I like the black and how it mixes well with the silver and everything, and I do like how he still has wristbands and everything. But yeah, so a really good looking gear. I remember liking it a lot more, but looking back on it, it's still really good. So I think, in fact, I'll put this in. I think I'll put this in A. Hey, I do really like it. It's a really solid looking gear, in my opinion. Next up we have. Oh, why am I? Must go there. Wrestlemania 33. This is when he battled the Game, Triple H, the full implosion of the Authority. Seth Rollins fully faced at this point because Triple H turned on him during the Fatal 4-Way for the Universal Championship, which, for what I remember, was a pretty good match. And it shocked a lot of people because Triple H just out of nowhere almost turned on Seth Rollins, began arguably the best Universal title reign at that time, which was Kevin Owens' run as the Universal Champion. Oh, such a good reign. But nevertheless, we got Seth Rollins here. This gear, though, not a big fan of it. It's kind of ugly. I can't even lie. Like, I kind of get what he's going for, or with, like, Kingslayer and everything. Apparently, it's supposed to be based off the white, gold, and black of the White Power Ranger, but I'm not really feeling it, especially with like the like scale type things we have here on like the shin guards or like the kick pads, which you can't really see in this picture. But yeah, I'm not really feeling it, and I'm not really feeling this silver either, or and the gold. I don't think it works as well as he would have hoped. Honestly, it's kind of an ugly gear. So sadly, Seth, I gotta put this is our first D tier. I am sorry. Good match from what I remember. I think I remember it was a good match, but not really feeling it in terms of gear. And what kills even more, and I know why he has it, obviously, because he was still recovering, but the knee brace, I think, really brings it down, sadly. But yeah, so this is D tier, unfortunately. SummerSlam 2017, though. Oh, this I think is a really cool gear. It's based off Deadpool and everything, and I like the red and the black, how that meshes well. And he had like little buckles on like the sides, which you can't really see in this image, but that looked pretty cool. And of course, Seth, this around when the Shield reunited, and he was challenging for the Raw Tag Team Championships alongside Dean Ambrose. Yeah, so the red and the black looks really cool. And like the vest and the pants look really good as well. So I think SummerSlam 2017 is going to be a B tier. It is a really solid looking gear, in my opinion. I really like it. Next up is, Next up is the Royal Rumble 2018. Not gonna lie, this gear, for the most part, I get what he's going for with like the flames, because burn it down. That was his catchphrase around this time. And it still kind of is in the intro of his new theme song. But also, do you prefer the old Seth Rollins theme or the new Seth Rollins theme, or the one he had in the middle when he was Monday Night Messiah? Honestly, while I really love this new one, the Visionary theme song, the old one kind of has a special place in my heart. But back to this gear. I get what he's going for with like the flames and everything, but other than that, it's kind of basic. It's just like a black design. He didn't even wear a vest. He just came out with just the pants at the Royal Rumble. His first Royal Rumble match since 2014. But I do like the red Seth Rollins logo on the knee pad there. But other than that, I'm not really feeling this one. This is another one that a lot of people like, but I'm not really feeling too much. So the Royal Rumble 2017 or 2018 I should say, is a C tier, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I know. Oh, I'm sorry. But next up is I think WrestleMania 34, yes. So WrestleMania 34. Not gonna lie, not a big fan of this one either. Now apparently this is based off a character from Game of Thrones, and maybe it's because I don't watch Game of Thrones, but his attire is not that great, unfortunately. It doesn't even have any of his logos or anything. Even this one has like the logo. Oh, and like this one, it's got the logo there, but this one no logo, just like the grays and everything, and some of that like quilted type design, but I'm not really digging it. I did like the blue contacts. Thought that was kind of cool, but not really digging it that much. It's really not great, unfortunately. So sadly, this one's also gonna be D tier. 2 WrestleManias in a row, that he's had a D tier attire. Sorry, Seth, but I guess they can all be 10s, But can he redeem himself? Let's see. SummerSlam 2018. This one was kind of mixed in my opinion. Like, I get, again, with these attires, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's just the optimism in me, but I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I get what he's going for here with like the Thanos gear, here, because Infinity War was around during this time, but it's kind of weird. I do like the vest, how it has the Thanos vest, and the pants. Yeah, that look nice, and he's got the gold boot. But I feel like this, I think, is kind of what's taking me out of it. Because why didn't he just have like a gold glove, or at least like a gold wristband? And why the whole boot? I thought that was pretty weird. But and how the pants still look kind of but I do like the vest as well. But yeah, so this one I'm not really feeling, unfortunately. It feels like a Thanos based on the comics. I think it might have worked a little bit better, but as it stands, I gotta give this one a C tier. Sorry, Seth. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I still love you, Seth. I still love you, man. But just not really feeling these gears. Can he redeem himself? He might be able to with Royal Rumble 2019. In my opinion, this is a really good one. I like the blue and the orange, like the Chicago Bears. You got the SR there on the vest. You got the logo right there. So yeah, pretty solid attire for the most part. I really like this one, and of course Seth Rollins went on to win this Royal Rumble match. So this one is going to be, you know what? I think, do I want to put this in A tier? Nah, I'm gonna put this in B tier. So this one is going to be in B tier. See, Seth, you still have some good gears. You win some, you lose some. They can't all be 10s. And WrestleMania 35, this one I've always liked. Something about this gear I've really liked. Black and gold, I think, is always a really solid color blend. For example, NXT black and gold. But something about this gear I really like, especially because it's kind of a callback. So, like I mentioned, here in the Royal Rumble 2019, Seth won this match and challenged Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. Now think back to here at WrestleMania 31, and Seth cashed in on both Roman and Brock, and curb stomped Roman to win, but Brock was still involved in the match, so Seth made it a triple threat. So it's kind of a callback. It was black and gold then, and it's black and gold now, except now it's just against Brock. And I do like the lines on there. This part is a little weird, but it's not really enough to bother me. And the gold Seth Rollins logo there is pretty cool. I like the lines throughout, and then the design on the boots. I think it's really cool. So this, I think I'm going to put in A tier. Is a really good looking attire, in my opinion. And I wish their match could have been a little bit better, but what can you do? Next up, though, is Super Showdown 2019. I mean, say what you want about the Saudi shows, but they're not really going to have an impact on the gear itself, because this gear is really cool as well. This is based off Avengers Endgame, so like the suits that they use for time travel and everything. Is based off that design, and I think it looks really cool. I like the red and the silver and the black and the white. I think that all works together really well. I like this SR logo right there, and then of course the Universal Championship there. Back when it was the red, ugly red design, it looks a lot better with the blue. But But I think it's still a really good looking attire. Say what you want about the shows or even the match, which I don't remember who he faced at that one, but yes, I think it's a really cool one. So I think this one I'll also put in A tier as well. Oh, really good gear. Next up is, let's see, Extreme Rules 2019, the Wolverine gear. Based off Wolverine's appearance in the movies and everything. This one is a really good looking gear. I like the X right there, and I like a lot of the lines throughout that look kind of like the Wolverine attire. And then the SR logo right there is really cool, and I like the boots and everything, and, which you can't really see because they're kind of cut off here. But yeah, this is a really good looking one. Between Seth Rollins and Johnny Gargano, sadly Johnny wins with like the Wolverine gear, but still a really cool one with Seth here. So this one I think I'll put in B tier. And wow, they really both wore Wolverine gears that year. Sorry, but Johnny's was better. Probably because Johnny's was more like based off the comics. The thing about Seth's Marvel gear is that his Marvel gears, I should say, is that they're based more on the movies. Meanwhile, Johnny's Marvel gear are based more on the comics. And DC gets no love. Well, they got a little bit from Ricochet, but yeah, DC gets no love. Poor DC. But SummerSlam 2019, and this attire. This attire honestly is a little bit weird. Now, Seth faced off against Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. So Brock won Mr. Money in the Bank, which he should have cashed in on Seth right after Extreme Rules, which was the mixed tag between Seth Rollins and Seth and Becky and Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch versus Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. You remember that feud? I do. It sadly wasn't great, but Seth got cashed in on. Fun fact: that was the same day as my cousin's wedding. But nevertheless, so Seth was cashing on, and now he's finding himself facing off against Brock Lesnar here, getting back his Universal title, which he did. I get the premise, and I've said that a lot in this video. I get the premise, but the attire itself is kind of eh. So it's supposed to be like a camo type thing, and we even have it kind of here, although it's supposed to be more like static here in the in Seth Rollins Titantron and everything, or Minitron, stuff like that. But it looks a little weird. It's kind of hard to see at first. You can tell something's there, but you don't really know what. And I like the SR logo there, but it doesn't stand out as much as I would have liked it to. But it's still an okay gear, I guess, but I wish it stood out a little more. So this, I think I'm going to put in C tier as well. Also, a lot of Seth Rollins gear, SummerSlam, are ending up in like B or C, except for 2015, which was S, aka Visionary. Survivor Series 2019. Seth Rollins, of course, part of Team Raw. This, in my opinion, is a really good looking gear. I like how it has like the Chicago Bulls with like the red and the black and the white. It looks really cool. And peep the Raw armband there. And I do like the boots and everything, and the SR logo there. It's got kind of like that chest design again that we saw with like the Wrestlemania one, which looks a little weird, but it's not. But maybe it's just this picture because, and actually, I found a lot of these. Someone put like renders of like the gears over on DeviantArt, so that's what I was able to find, among other things, on DeviantArt. But I digress. But yeah, so it looks a little weird, but it still looks kind of cool. So this one I think I'll put in B. So Survivor Series 2019 is going to be a B tier here. So Survivor Series 2019 is B tier. Next up is Monday Night Messiah. So Seth Rollins turned heel once again, and became the Monday Night Messiah, and this is how he's pictured in like the Thunderdome and everything. But this was the gear he wore most of the time as the Monday Night Messiah. Heel Seth Rollins is I feel like is usually always better than face Seth Rollins. Something about it, heel Seth Rollins just next level awesome. But you can't really see it, but on the other side it has the silver with like the Monday Night Messiah, and I do like the silver here and the black here, which looks pretty cool. Overall, it's a really good looking attire in my opinion, especially like the jacket and everything, and the black I think mixes well with the silver. So this I think I will put in B tier. So I'll just put M and M, which is also the name of a tag team in WWE as well. Eminem. They were around when I was growing up. Really solid team. Joey Mercury, Johnny Nitro, and Melina. Or maybe the M's are flipped. But anyway, WrestleMania 36. And this was during the match against Kevin Owens, if I'm not mistaken. But I really like this gear. It's got the white and everything with like the black. A little too basic, but it still looks relatively good for the most part. I feel like the jacket and everything kind of saves the gear a little bit, but otherwise it is pretty basic, but it still looks pretty cool. So I think this one I will put in B tier. So WrestleMania 36, the one in front of no crowd. Man, those were weird times. And I get why they did it, but man, those were weird times. Honestly. But next up, we've got SummerSlam 2020. And this is when Seth Rollins took on Dominic Mysterio in Dominic's debut match. Such a disrespectful gear because it's supposed to be making fun of Rey. Of course, it's supposed to be based off of Rey Mysterio's gear at WCW Halloween Havoc 97, a match I reviewed, so if you haven't already, you already know what to do. Go check out that video over on my YouTube channel. But I like the purple, even though it's a bit more on like the pink side, but that's fine. And there, and it's got the Monday Night Messiah logo there, and the silver there. Just a overall good looking attire. But like I said, it's such a disrespectful attire. It's hilarious, but it still looks really, really good. And I like the jacket and everything, and go along with it. So yeah, this one's honestly S because it's a disrespectful attire. They're visionary, I should say. It's a disrespectful attire, but it's still really, it's a really good looking attire for Seth Rollins. WrestleMania 37. I really like this one. And this is the attire. Fun fact: this is the attire that he wears in 2K22. But I like the red and the black, and then on the other side you can't really see it. You can kind of see it a little bit right here, but it's got like the Seth Rollins logo, but it's supposed to look like Obama. But the jacket looks really nice, and I like the SR, the new SR logo. Oh, and the stuff on the boots looks pretty cool. And look at that glorious pose from Seth Rollins. But yeah, so really good looking attire in my opinion. So this I think I'll give. I don't necessarily want to put it in S, but it is A tier. So WrestleMania 37, which he faced Cesaro at that WrestleMania. That is going in A tier. Next up is SummerSlam 2021. This is a really good looking attire. This is his match against Edge, a match that sadly I missed out on, but I definitely gotta go back and watch because a lot of people said it was really, really good. But I like the gold right here and the white on the boots, and I like the designs on the pants, and the jacket looks really good as well. I was able to find a picture of both here in like the attire itself, and then the jacket to go along with it, which I think looks really, really cool. It may be a reference of some kind, but I probably missed the reference. I probably gotta watch the match to get the reference. But if you guys know what it is, definitely let me know in the comments. But it's still a really good looking attire. So this I will put in. I think I'm gonna put this in A. I don't necessarily want to put it in S, but I am going to put it in A because it is still a really good attire. And also, shouts out to this being the first SummerSlam in front of people again. But Survivor Series 2021. This one I'm not really feeling. I do like the jacket with like the red and the black and peep the shirt right there, but other than that, the attire is kind of It's kind of got the same design except with like red and white, but and gray. But I don't think it works quite as well. Oh, but it's still okay. But I'm not really feeling it compared to the other ones. So this one, unfortunately, is going in C. And you may be wondering where some of the other Seth Rollins attires are at Survivor Series, but the thing about Seth Rollins is what he would usually do before busting out some of these like custom ones is he would wear like the gear he normally wears, but then wear like the half shirt, so half Raw, half whatever his shirt is. In fact, I'll pull it up for you. For example, let's do like Seth Rollins at Survivor. Here, if I can spell Survivor, that would be nice. Series 2016. So you can see like the half and half shirt. I decided not to put these in because the only real difference is like the shirt. That's about it. But nevertheless, let's move on to WrestleMania 38 against Cody Rhodes. Peep that pose from Seth Rollins. That is a pose as he runs around the ring and everything. But this one, I kind of have mixed feelings about. I do really like the blues and the blacks and everything, and that very big poofy coat. And I'm pretty sure after a while, him and his wife Becky Lynch probably he just like went back and forth as to who could have the weirder outfit of the night. I forget which attire Becky wore or here, but I think Seth won this one. Sorry, Becky. In fact, let me look it up. Becky Lynch, WrestleMania 38 attire. I forgot. Oh yeah, it's this one. Yeah, sorry, Becky, you lost this one, but I do really like it for the most part. But it is a little weird. It's very out there. And I feel like Seth's attires as the visionary between the suits and the actual wrestling gear sometimes they're a little bit too out there. And I get it's more like a parody type thing, but it's a little too out there for me. Especially with like this like mesh part, or I think is a little bit odd, and the shirt to go with it. It almost looks like a pajama shirt, but it still looks cool for the most part. And of course, shouts out to that awesome match with Cody Rhodes. Not the last he would have that year. So this, I think, I'm gonna put in. Do I want to put this in B or? I think I'm gonna put this in C. So I think I am going to put this in B. Yeah, you know what? We'll leave it in B. I think I'll put this in B. Yeah. Hell in a Cell 2022, and shouts out to that other awesome match with Cody where he went in, wrestled a 20-minute match, or it might have been a little longer, but wrestled a pretty lengthy match with weapons, all with a ruptured pectoral muscle. All the respect in the world to Cody. Hope you get well soon. Can't wait to see you back in WWE soon. But the attire itself, again, another very disrespectful attire. This one doesn't change up as much, though, as opposed to this, where it's a little bit more original. But it's still a very disrespectful attire, but still pretty funny. And I do like the polka dots and the yellow boots. So for that, homages, which it may be disrespectful, but it's also a bit of an homage, probably because of course, Seth was mentored by Dusty Rhodes, and of course, Dusty Rhodes, Cody's father. But in like storyline, it's supposed to be more disrespectful. But yeah, so this is going in B tier. It's a really good attire, but not enough for like A or S. Money in the Bank 2022, and honestly, I remember he definitely wore this at Money in the Bank, but he's worn this a lot more than just at Money in the Bank. In fact, at the time of recording, he just faced Bobby Lashley for the U.S. title on Raw, and he was wearing this attire or so. Yeah, he's worn this quite a few times. This one I'm not really feeling. The rainbow colors, I do kind of like with like the silver, but it does look really weird. Like I said, sometimes his attires are a bit too out there, and also I couldn't find like a clean image of the attire itself, so we had to go 2K22 custom creations because I wanted this, and I probably wanted like the robe and everything as well. I try to get both, so health, because sometimes like their like entrance gear, like the jackets and the robe and stuff, sometimes plays into how well the gear looks and everything. But this one is a little weird. It kind of reminds me of like almost like a roller rink. I don't know why. I always think of a roller rink when I see this because of all the colors and everything. But it looks okay, but just a little weird. So I think this one I may put in B tier as well. A little out there, but it still looks okay for the most part. And finally, at least the last gear we're looking at for now, and his most recent gear, most recent new gear, I should say, Clash at the Castle. Oh, so this is one he faced Matt Riddle, and this is supposed to be an homage to Elton John, with like the flames and everything. And homage gears always look pretty cool. Well, I didn't realize at first what this gear was supposed to be when I first saw it, but then when people pointed it out, I was like, oh, okay. Hey, but still looks pretty looks pretty funny, but also looks pretty cool for the most part, and got the flames and everything. And so this one I think we'll put in A. Homage gears are always very nice, at least in my opinion. So really solid stuff for the most part. So to recap, in S tier we have. In S tier, aka Visionary tier, we have SummerSlam 2015 and SummerSlam 2020. In A tier, we have The Shield, WrestleMania 31, Redesign, Rebuild, Reclaim, Silver, WrestleMania 35, Super Showdown 2019, WrestleMania 37, SummerSlam 2021, and Clash of the Castle. In B tier, we have The Authority, SummerSlam 2017, Royal Rumble 2019, Extreme Rules 2019, Survivor Series 2019, Monday Night Messiah, I should say, WrestleMania 36, WrestleMania 38, Hell in a Cell 2022, and Money in the Bank 2022. In C tier, we have NXT, SummerSlam 2016, Royal Rumble 2018, SummerSlam 2018, SummerSlam 2019, Survivor Series 2021, and in D tier, we have WrestleMania 33 and WrestleMania 34. So, that is all the gears that we have, and that is my rankings of them. So, please let me know in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you disagree with my rankings? And what is your favorite and least favorite Seth Rollins gear? Until next time, thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you can watch it right as soon as it drops. And I will see you guys later. Peace.